The 81% of households cutting down on at least one meal a day and 41% having no means to feed their families are people. They are South Africans. They are men, women, and children. Not so long ago, many of them had jobs through which they were earning a living to take care of their families. All that went up in smoke when COVID hit, causing unemployment to soar. When violent and devastating riots took place in July last year, causing lives and affecting thousands of formal and informal businesses. And when floods wreaked havoc in KZN and the Eastern Cape, with so many of those families still reliant on mass relief shelters. This put extra strain on their finances as they have to travel further to work and school, adding to their already high cost of living. The high cost of food affects the quality of daily meals. In South Africa, 27% of children suffer from stunting, which is, I quote, the failure of children to reach their full growth potential as a result of long-term poor diet, health, and or care, close quote. This definition could have easily been conceptualized for the South African strain of child stunting, the lack of care for especially children that has been displayed by the ANC government in the recent history is astounding. Where else have you seen ministers taken to court in order to provide starving children and families with meals? The National School Nutrition Program case comes to mind, where millions of children were suddenly without food at a time when their caregivers had no means to fend for them. Is this how we care for the day-to-day nutritional needs of vulnerable children? No, it cannot be. It is important to note that the Democratic Alliance was involved in all these court actions because we will stop at nothing to ensure that poor and vulnerable are cared for in real terms. Unlike the ANC government, we do not make empty promises. They speak one thing and do or doesn't do the exact opposite. As champions of the whole of society approach to South Africa's many problems, man-made and otherwise, the DA has continued to come up with well-researched, realistically crafted, and time-sensitive interventionist solutions to the hardships so many are experiencing. We not only propose these from research, but we are implementing some of them in our governments, in our DA governments. We do hope President Ramaphosa, to whom the DA leader John Steenhuisen presented these interventions a couple of weeks ago, will put South Africans first and implement them. In short, these solutions are cutting taxes and levies on fuel to reduce the cost of transporting food, reallocating the 50 million food aid to Cuba to feed hungry people right here at home, scrapping VAT on the food items most commonly purchased by the poorest households by reviewing and expanding the zero-rated food basket, reviewing and reducing import tariffs on food consumed by low-income households, providing private title to all land reform beneficiaries to increase food supply and security while reducing prices. As the Democratic Alliance, we have and continue to demonstrate that caring is a doing word, not a slogan to try and win votes. In the DA-run Western Cape, we are implementing the following. Almost 500,000 school children are fed daily by the Western Cape Education Department. In addition, 25,000 children are fed by the Western Cape Education Department through after-school and youth development programs. The Western Cape Education Department also helped establish 571 food gardens. The Western Cape Department of Social Development feeds 158,770 young children through ECD centers. As a caring organization, we will not tire in proposing implementable solutions to save lives and livelihoods of the people of this nation. The recent increase in food prices has reduced the value of grants that are way below the lower bound poverty line to levels where households depending on these grants are left with very little to live on. According to the Household Affordability Index by the Pietermaritzburg Economic Justice and Dignity Group, an average food basket costs 4,776 rand this year, compared to last year's 4,241 rands. That is a creative and constructive initiative that needs to be developed. This is why the DA is proposing leveraging the potential of communities to plant their own vegetable gardens to feed their families. Many of these initiatives are already thriving and form the backbone of not only survival, but also healthy living for many households. It is a shame, Chairperson, that millions of South Africans are facing starvation and hunger every single day, the very human rights enshrined in the Constitution of this nation. This while the government of the ANC dithers. Thank you, Honorable Chair.